Welcome to the Film Slice podcast where Jordan eats.
Yay.
Hey team, Angus Draken here, and welcome to the Film Slice podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Wiggly Wriggly Diddly Doo Kane Dogs.
Hey, man.
And Bro Diddly Doo Meister Richardicus Richards. How are we?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Jordan is fun.
This week, very special week.
Is it?
No, not really.
Oh, well, I guess
We're reviewing-
it's Easter.
Yeah.
Happy
it's
Easter.
It is Easter, yeah. Happy Easter to everyone.
Well, Easter past.
It was.
It was Easter.
Happy Easter past.
Happy past Easter, everyone.
Happy belated Easter.
That's it. And of course, because we're in our Easter theme, we've decided to review this week Ready Player One.
Not Peter Rabbit, because
Not
we
Peter.
all decided we didn't want to.
Yeah, no. Ready Peter Rabbit.
The Easter movie Ready Player One.
That's it.
A lot of references to Easter eggs, though, to be fair.
There are actually.
Like, at least-
I like that. That's a good segue. Guys, you know how we put out on Twitter every week what movie we're reviewing.
Of course
Yep.
we do, because it's us.
And no one replies to us.
This is correct.
We got a reply.
Was it you?
We got a reply, and it wasn't me.
Was it your mum?
No. It
New
wasn't
viewer!
anyone related to us.
That makes-
This one's from none other than Radio Mike. He's quite a big deal in the radio scene,
Big
but he
deals?
commented on us
Really?
when I put out, what did you think of Ready Player One? You know what he said?
What'd you say?
He said the book's better. Do you guys realize this was a book?
Yeah.
I knew this was a book, but
Really?
having read only
Yeah.
3 books
It
in
was
my
like
whole
written
life.
in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
It makes me wonder what the book is like.
That's
It's all
so shattering.
video game and pop culture references
Really?
from the 80s. Yeah.
Huh. That must be interesting.
K-Dogs, hit us up with the IMDb summary for Ready Player One.
When the creator of a virtual reality world called the Oasis dies, he releases a video in which he challenges all Oasis users to find an Easter egg, which will give the finder his fortune.
Easter egg, it's Easter. We bloody
The
nailed it.
Oasis is virtual reality, basically.
Cane Dogs.
When you see the movie, what did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
I saw it
Think.
last night.
Awesome.
Yep, that's when I saw it.
Didn't Angus?
What did I think? I hated it. I very much disliked it.
Yeah, right. Birdman, when did you see the movie? What'd you think?
I saw it about 2 days ago, and I liked it. Didn't think it was amazing, but just the fact that it kind of celebrates everything I'm interested in kind of made
Really?
me enjoy it more.
I thought you. I walked out. And I was like, you know what, Brody fucking hates this movie.
Yeah, right.
There's so much stuff I didn't like, but there's a number of little things that I was like, I appreciated.
Yeah. Well, I saw the movie 2 days ago as well. Might have been in the same cinema. If you...
Ooh, not
No, we weren't. But I saw it 2 days ago, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. I had a good time watching it. I
Okay.
think that's what I'm going to take away with it. Cane Dogs, would you recommend it, and who'd you recommend it to?
I would not recommend it to anyone.
Cool. Birdman?
Yep.
I think this is a kind of a one viewing kind of film. You only need to really watch this film once. Even if, like, there's so much stuff to kind of pick through in the background and everything, but that I don't really find that kind of fun. That kind of feels like a tedious task
Right?
to do
Fucking annoying.
later on.
Yeah.
So I'd say if you're a fan of anything from the 80s till now in video games,
Watch an 80s movie from Spielberg when he made good movies.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you're not like super into this kind of world or whatever, then just wait for Netflix or DVD or whatever.
So I would recommend it, and who'd I recommend it to? I would recommend it to anyone looking for a nostalgia trip, anyone that grew up in the 80s, definitely worth it. Anyone who grew up with 80s film. I would also recommend it to young video game players, because I feel like it's got a bit of a history. You know, you kind of learn a bit about it and stuff like that. That's coming from a non-video gamer. I'm not a gamer at all, let's be honest, but I'd recommend it to young kids as well. I think would enjoy it. And I think that's really Spielberg's audience at the end of the day. Is
younger kids
you know,
probably enjoy it, but I do feel
Yeah.
like some sequences would have been too scary for the younger kids as well. So honestly, I'm not sure.
Wow, yeah, that is true. Wrapping up the spoiler-free section, bit divided here. Cane Dogs, you would not recommend it at all to anyone. Broadman,
Why not?
yeah, it's all right.
I guess if you have to see a movie right now, this is a movie that's out. But that's not. I mean,
if you were forced, if someone had a gun to your head and said, "See a movie," otherwise I'll pull the trigger.
Sure.
At least
see
it's
this
not
look,
Red
but I mean,
Sparrow.
Do it, yeah. Is everyone ready for spoilers?
I believe I am.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
Good call.
Broadman, what was your fave bit of this pick?
The race scene. Absolutely top.
Solid.
Quality, top shelf. Ooh, sweet biscuits.
I really
It
thought
was-
you'd hate this movie.
It was nice. It was awesome. I was like gearing up for it. I was like, I'd seen a bunch of stuff in the trailers, and I was like, okay, it has the chance to be great. And so I was waiting for it, and I heard someone mention it before I saw it that the race scene has no music in it, and I was like, okay, this interests me because usually stuff kind of gets drowned out with music, and it's not as impactful. Watching this scene without music, it just made every impact that bit kind of better. I liked most of the stuff in the Oasis. I was kind of like, this is video games. I get it. You know, like there's so much stuff like out now where all of that stuff's already happening. You know, there's a game called VR Chat, and people are just in VR and they just talk to each other and they can choose their avatars. And so you already see stuff like this. You see everyone's their favorite characters. Yeah. There are a lot of people that are anime characters in that game. And I was like, okay, this is happening. I've seen this in real life. I kind of get this. Anytime it went out of the Oasis, I was like, oh, this is kind of terrible cliche.
Yeah, fair. Cane Dogs, positives. Do you have any? Do you want to just pass it on to me?
No, I had some positives. Mm-hmm. Trying to think of them. I really specifically liked that I could see Han Solo's belt on the main character.
Attention to detail.
I really liked that Simon Pegg was in this.
Was it Han Solo's belt?
Yep.
Weird.
I really liked that Simon Pegg was in this film.
Yeah, I like Sam Pegg.
I really liked the Shining moment. Really liked that. Being
that
a
was
fan of The
really
Shining.
well done.
I did really like that. And then when it started to go into zombies, I was like,
It was weird.
zombies in Shining. And then when they're like, there aren't any zombies in Shining. Didn't you see the movie? I'm like, okay, redeemed.
Yeah, okay, they know that.
I'm sick of every single depiction of video games in films being a bad thing. It's always some guy in a basement with like a Mountain Dew doing like playing a game, playing World of Warcraft or something, and they're always like, "Oh, fucking nerd!" That's like every reference I can even like think of someone who playing video games. So watching this and them having like references, I was like, they're talking about Twitch, and I love watching streams on Twitch. They're talking about, and there's so many video games there that. And there's so many bits where most people watch that and they're like, okay, that's a cool looking character. And I'm watching that, I'm like, okay, that's a character from StarCraft. That's amazing that they're even talking about StarCraft. Like, it's like such a big game. It's like, but no one's thinking of StarCraft. And I love that because it's celebrating a culture that I love so much personally, and that I don't feel like hasn't had the best recognition in films.
This movie to me felt like pandering. It really felt like pandering to me. It felt like. Let's try to list as many things as we think people love as possible in this movie. And depending on like there will be something for everyone to love because we've put every single thing we could possibly imagine into it, and hopefully that's enough to hook our audience. Because the story by itself,
I think the story was fine.
I found it. This movie is Spy Kids 3. It's actually Spy Kids 3, except
I haven't seen Spy Kids 3.
It's the actual story of Spy Kids 3.
I'm gonna say that the storyline was fine. Obviously, it's nothing groundbreaking, but I think there was enough there to keep the movie going. At times, I think the momentum was lost, but as a whole, I think the movie was fine in its trajectory. I don't think the movie was too long. I think it was pretty good.
I think it was maybe 10 minutes too long for me.
It did kind of slow down towards the end, but I kind of understood that.
I agree with both of you. I think it was the right length, but I think they wasted time in some stuff in the real world.
Yeah. The other thing I did like is that it wasn't, because I was kind of going like, there's going to be so many references to video games, and me as a gamer, me as not a gamer, I won't understand all of the references in. Like there was this one person from a video game. She's like, she wears an orange suit and blue goggles.
Oh, Tracer from Overwatch.
Yeah, like I saw her a handful of times. I'm like, okay, obviously this is someone that's important, but I have no idea who that is. But I really enjoyed the fact that they also put in movie references, like The Shining. Like when The Shining came in, I'm like, I understand this and stuff like that. And like same thing, like having the DeLorean in, that wasn't in a video
DeLorean,
game. Per se.
Godzilla,
That was like, that was a movie, and King Kong and all of that stuff. So there was enough for me to get behind, even though I wasn't a gamer, which I think was really like a really good way to go about it.
I really enjoyed seeing the references. It was good to see some callbacks to stuff that I didn't know would have been popular enough to make it into this film. Like little things, like as you said, like the rail gun and the gun from Gears of War.
Yeah, that was great.
That was kind of cool. There's just there's like, you know, small like Goro from fucking Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat. A lot of Street Fighter characters.
Samus is in the battle. There's a whole bunch of stuff that...
See, Duke Nukem getting a Blu-ray.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I really enjoyed seeing. It's just that I found myself spending so much time looking for it.
Another positive that I had, I actually really enjoyed the depiction of the future. I think I didn't like them constantly going back to the real world. I thought after they had shown it at the start, they could just leave that. Like obviously they had to bring in higher stakes and whatnot. But I thought the actual depiction of the future, where there were like little drones flying around and stuff like that, overpopulation, all of that kind of stuff. And
everyone's
still
always on a screen, no matter where they are. If they're walking down the street, they're on the they've got a
that
headset
kind of
on.
Stuff. I thought that was a really realistic depiction of what we're heading into.
I didn't like the stacks where he lives.
No.
I thought that was just a little bit... It was like way too precarious for me. It was like... it was just looked all like really flimsy, and there wasn't enough people. It's like they're doing it because of overpopulation, and there was like one person living in each trailer. I was like, I would have preferred it if there was like there was a family of 5 in every single trailer, and there was just so many people. I think it would have made that area a lot cooler.
I did like the reasoning is that, like, you know, it wasn't one specific thing that, like, you know, sort of threw humanity out of whack. It's just that we stopped trying to fix mounting problems.
Yeah,
it wasn't one
what's
thing.
The line in it? It's like we stopped trying to fix things and just tried to wait it out, or
tried
like
to live through it.
Yeah, tried to live before it ended. It something like that. Yeah,
I like that the coins in the Oasis are basically the same as real life money.
Yeah,
so it's like people are spending their mortgage in the Oasis. They're like betting on things and they could lose all of their money in the Oasis.
Yeah, definitely.
And if they're in serious debt, then they go and they work in loyalty centers, which are basically like prisons where you're forced to work in the Oasis, like mining Bitcoin, basically. Which is what I thought it was very much like, to then earn, because that money is the same in the real world.
Definitely, yeah. And on the flip side of that, when he earned money and then went in and bought himself a real life suit.
Yeah, and there was shops in the Oasis that you buy stuff and it gives you a real life delivery.
So it actually
sends it to your house.
Yeah.
Do you want to, Angus? Do you want to start us off with the negatives?
With negatives, yeah, sure. My biggest gripe with this was the fact that they talked. The best friend talked to the main guy. Was like, you can't give them your identity and you can't like love someone online because you don't know if they're like a 50-year-old man or actually like, you know, a 19-year-old girl kind of thing. You don't know. I really would have liked the female animated character to actually be maybe not like an old guy, but someone that just like they wouldn't work as an actual couple, but for some reason
I like that.
In the Oasis it would be
I was hoping
fine.
that the best friend would be the love interest, because you assume it's the dude, and the minute he says like, you know, you don't know who it is, I was like, bet that's a girl.
You could kind of tell it was a lady because like the voice kind of dropped and stuff like that.
I bet that his best friends is a woman.
I was hoping that the best friend would become the love interest, and the girl that he was interested in would be.
And I didn't like the fact that they were
Chris Evans.
That she was like, no, in real life, like I'm ugly and stuff like that, and like then in real life you see her and you're like, you're not.
I hate those things.
You're really not.
Where
like
she's super ashamed of herself, and it's like,
you've got to
don't pretend. Like like, you know, everybody has things about them they don't like.
Let's be
regardless of
honest.
how
You're
attractive,
pretty
but,
babin.
But
Like-
come on, don't be like, I'm hideous.
Yeah.
Everybody's disappointed when they meet me. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
they're not.
So
And
that
the
was
birth
like
make looks fucking cool anyway. Like,
So that was probably my main gripe. It just jumped back to the real world a bit too much for me. Every time it was in the main world, I was like, just go back to the Oasis. I want to see more of that, because it was like this fantastical kind of place. And maybe that's what he was trying to get at, where like this place is so much better than the real world. Like maybe that was the thing, but yeah, honestly, I think you could have cut out a lot of the like real world stuff. The only problem with that is then like the stakes don't really get risen. But yeah, I think also they jumped into the main character giving away his real name far too early on. I think that should have been left way later, and then that way the stakes actually would have been risen. Whereas like he drops his name in like the first third of the
he tells
movie.
the girl he loves her within like his second interaction. It's a bit forced.
Yeah, so
A bit forced.
I think that could have been left a bit later.
So my
About it.
biggest problem with this film is the 3 villains that should have been 2. So the 3 villains in this film is Ben Mendelsohn, the businessman, T.J. Miller as kind of a random character
The
that
bounty
you could have
hunter
taken
guy
out of
in
the film,
Oasis.
and it would have been he doesn't change the film
No,
at
not
all.
No.
I was
And-
hoping it was going to become like good at the end. Maybe, I don't know. I thought he was going to have something, because at the end he's like, "Whoa, I don't want to go out like that, man." I thought maybe he was gonna stop Ben Mendelsohn and then let like and Wade win the game, and maybe he
And-
would have had a purpose. But
And also the crazy assassin girl who, yeah. So what I would have preferred, because my idea is to have 2 villains. One, which is Ben Mendelsohn's character, the businessman, and another, which is a nerdy character who's really into geek and geek culture. The geek character, he's completely fine with doing anything in the video game. It's a video game. It's like, if you kill someone in the video game, it's a video game. They're not really dead. It's like, it's fine, whatever. But Ben Mendelsohn's character, who's a businessman, he's completely okay with killing someone in real life, because at the end of the day, he wants to make money.
That's business.
And he's like, yeah, that's the real world. And so eventually, they kind of get along. They're kind of friends, but they're also business partners. And eventually, Ben Mendelsohn betrays his friend to prolong the business, and ideally just to gain control of the Oasis. That's what. And so the assassin girl wouldn't be in there. It would be Ben Mendelsohn. He's willing to do, the dark stuff.
Yeah.
And then T.J. Miller would kind of be blended into a character who's a bit more geeky. Because I feel like the assassin girl, you take her out of the film and it's the exact same film. She doesn't do anything. The 9 main characters, none of them have an avatar that's a pop culture reference, except for Ben Mendelsohn, who's Superman.
Yeah.
But even then, he's dark, evil Superman. If Ben Mendelsohn's avatar was just normal Superman, it would be so much better, because he sees himself, he's the good guy, right?
Yeah, that would
in
have
his
been fun.
mind, is like all villains see themselves as the good
Yeah.
guy. He should have just been normal Superman instead of being evil Superman.
Just before I forget, one of my other positives was when they did come out into the real world, watching the people playing the games. Like, at the very end of the movie, there's this massive battle and everything, and everyone's fighting. And it's really epic. And then it comes out to the real world, and everyone's just in the
some
stream,
old lady, throwing punches.
kicking punches and stuff like that. The other time where it came up, which was really funny, was when the Shining bit first came in, and the 101 IOI, sorry, the IOI people, they were in there, and it was just
They all get really scared.
it was
and
a whole
stuff?
day, and you could just hear people go
All
That
the
scene
bit
did
with
make me
Chucky.
laugh. We're
Yeah, it's
like,
like-
now we're up to the Shining contest.
yeah,
That
and
I laughed quite a bit.
there's
at
just
that one.
a room full of 100 people just going It was
pretty
it
good.
was very funny.
All right.
Anyway, Cane Dogs,
Okay,
hit us with your negatives.
I want to clarify. I didn't hate every aspect of this film. I just felt like it was pandering a bit too much to
Yeah,
me.
fair.
I'll try to structure this as easy as possible.
And
a
don't
lot
say
of-
what you've said already.
A lot of exposition.
Yeah.
just so much of
voiceover was used way too much.
so much voiceover and so many conversations that didn't make sense to be having because they're telling someone that should also.
By the
know
way,
what's
my parents are
happening.
dead.
That was a weird.
He's like, wait, hang on, my parents are dead. He mentioned it like multiple times. It was just
But
weird.
I'm referring to when he tells a girl he loves her, and then this happens in a lot of movies, and I always hate it. And look, sometimes people react like this. Just didn't really fit for me, where she just randomly like he's like I love you, and she's like other people have shit to fight for. My parents died like this, and then she storms off, and I'm like, that wasn't like. I don't know if it was entirely relevant to bring all of that random information in. But when I say exposition, there's a very specific scene where something happens. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. But there's a scene, and he's like, oh yeah, this happens. And as you know, in the Oasis, and it might be just when they're explaining death or something like that, but there's a conversation that happens between two characters, and they definitely would both know. It's like me talking to you, Brody, and being like, so as you know, in Call of Duty, the right trigger is shoot and the left trigger is grenade.
So yeah, no shit.
And if you kill someone, you get like plus 50 points. And if you die, you respawn. I mean, you know that, but just a conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
What I didn't get about this film is that I thought that you could only get zeroed out on Planet Doom. Because you go to Planet Doom, if someone kills you on Planet Doom, you get zeroed out. So Planet Doom's kind of like a bet. It's like, I'm betting I'm going to kill more people and I won't get killed.
Yeah.
But then apparently no, if you get killed anywhere in the Oasis, you can get zeroed out. And I didn't get that. I was like, that's scary as hell. Imagine just playing golf and some stupid internet troll just comes up behind you, stabs you, and you lose all of your coin. That sounds like the worst thing in the world.
brings me to my...
That's one thing that I thought this movie was missing was the internet troll. The person
if
that
you've
just
ever
goes
played a
to, like,
multiplayer game or
There's just, a bit of a
there's
dick
just
for the
someone
sake of a
that's
dick.
like, yeah.
like do you remember the films How to Annoy People in Call of Duty? Do you
Yeah.
remember watching them?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
just
yeah,
some
yeah,
guy
yeah.
that used to just trap his teammates in
And he
Call of
just, like,
Duty
crouches in
and
front
just
of
talk
shit
to
like
him
that.
over voice chat because you can't get past him. It's like, oh,
Brings me to my next point. And now, some of these points, there are counter arguments to them, and I understand that. I just felt it. The weight behind the fact that you die and lose all your stuff lost its weight for me very quickly when I realized that all of the challenges had nothing to do with how much stuff you had. Every single challenge that you could do whilst, like, with no equipment. The first challenge is you drive backwards. The second challenge is you just have to be able to jump and you need to know history. And the last challenge is you have to be able to play an arcade game.
by the way, every time I play a video game, the very first thing I do is try to go the other way to see if there's an Easter egg there.
Yeah,
like that's like I'm not even joking. That's the first thing I do in every single game. It's like, go here. I'm like, no. I go the other way. Whatever it tells me to do, I don't do it. If it tells me to press enter to escape from something, I don't do it. I wait it out, see what happens, or I die and then the credits roll. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll play again. I'll press enter this time.
Even me as a non-gamer,
Yeah.
like every time I start a level, I'll try and walk backwards or
And like the first challenge was drive backwards, and the second one was you've got to go into the Shining, go to a very specific room after noticing a picture on a wall.
The second one was nuts.
Then jump from zombie dancer to zombie dancer, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What?"
It's like,
that's a big
To
step
go
up.
from the first challenge to the second challenge is really dumb.
Yeah.
In terms of the way they wrote
I didn't
that.
even get the third challenge where they just data mined it and to find out that it's on this planet.
Yeah.
It's like I understand going and playing the game with the very first Easter egg, which I loved, by the way. Knowing about that game and that Easter egg, I was like, what's in this? I was like, and they're like, oh, it's adventure. And I was like, oh, it's totally adventure. It's like, it's the very first Easter egg. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, oh, cool.
That's awesome.
It was like, I
like that.
I loved that, but it was like it's on planet. It's like on a planet,
Yeah.
like under a temple, and I was like, how they even found that? They never discussed. They just say, oh yeah, people quickly found out that it was there, and I was like,
Yeah, they jump from. They're like, question 1 takes like an hour to solve. Question 2 takes an hour to solve, and then it cuts. It's like after question 1 and 2, everybody was real quick on to question 3, and it's like, yeah, question 3 was go to like this very specific place. Like,
I believe
everyone was
I believe it's pronounced quest, not question.
quest. Everybody was,
I was like, question, was that in there? Yeah.
everybody was really quick on the quest 3, and I was like, sure, everybody should have been really quick on the quest 1.
Yeah.
Okay, the one last nitpick I have
Okay. Make it quick.
is that one of the things that the guy wanted to kind of... It felt very Willy Wonka to me as well at the very end. But one of the things the guy wanted to convey is that I don't want everybody to waste their life in the Oasis. It's kind of the thing he tries to say, like, you know, reality is important too. I would have really liked for the third quest to have to be based in reality. I would have really liked for quest 1 to be in the game, quest 2 to be in the game, and quest 3 was about knowing that he doesn't want you to spend your life in the game, and you have to go to maybe, like, you know, his old apartment or something like that, or maybe you have to go and find his friend.
Have to break into his old apartment.
And then, well, I don't know.
Now
but
the police
the
show
third
up.
quest would have actually required everybody to do something in real life, which I would have preferred.
Yeah. Closing thoughts, Cane Dogs. You did not like it.
Look, I just think I really like the concept.
Yeah.
I really like, let's make a game that has stuff that isn't just the 80s, but everybody can enjoy. No matter who you are, you'll find something in this to like or relate to.
Yep.
I like that as a concept. I really love quest-based movies where it's like achieve 3 things. I really like the homage to Willy Wonka. And there's a few other 80s films that I really like the homage to. I just think that it could have been executed better.
Okay.
I think they kind of went the wrong way about it.
Breadman, closing thoughts.
Hollywood, quit it with the cliches. Try something new. Take a risk.
Brody, fix Hollywood.
Cryptic, but I like it. Yeah, I'm going to say this movie is, as Jordan would say, a fun romp, even though Jordan doesn't say that this movie is a fun romp.
Look, yeah, okay, it's a fun romp as long as you don't...
I think it's a bit of fun, but ultimately forgettable. I don't think it's going to win any Oscars or anything, but take your kid to it.
I don't think it's quotable either.
You're a bad parent if you don't take your kid to it.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a bit full on.
No, but yeah, take your kid to it.
You suck at parenting.
Take your kid to it, take your girlfriend to it, take your boyfriend to it, take anyone to it, and it's fun. Don't watch it by yourself because it's quite lonely.
Take your frogs to it.
It's one of those films I think I just hated because I expected it to be better.
Yeah, fair.
Oh,
Cool.
did you see Battletoads?
Oh, also they did Ninja Turtles, which I was waiting for, and then it turned out to
Ninja
be
Turtles.
like the modern day Michael Bay Ninja Turtles, and I fucking hated it.
Yeah. No, that was
Hello?
That was a low point.
How much better would it have been if we got like the 80s Ninja Turtles?
Cane Dogs. Normally we end the episode on a theme.
I thought we'd just talk about or list which game we are have a fond memory of.
Fair enough. Or we could list every single reference ever. Batman, Batgirl, Harlequin, Joker,
Brody,
Deathstroke,
no,
Minecraft,
I don't
Overwatch,
have
StarCraft,
time.
Disney,
Shut the
Mortal
fuck
Kombat,
up.
Street Fighter, Team Benzine, Star Wars, The Shining, Firefly, Akira, Back to the Future, Mad Max. Yeah. You've been listening to the Film Slice podcast. You can reach us on Twitter at film_slice_pod. Also
on
YouTube and on iTunes.
We nailed that.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.